Hello, hello, welcome back. And so today we have Ahamara coming to talk with us on Bridge3Tv. Hello, hello, how are you doing?
Hey, peace, 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 peace. How are you?
I'm doing well, doing well. It's always good to see you.
And you as well.
How are you? I'm
So how's
doing well.
everything going? Everything's good on your end of the town?
Yes, I can't complain. I'm sitting here, it looks like it's nighttime in my background, but it's still daytime.
Yeah.
You know, I got to check on my garden that I got going on this afternoon, after work. And so I don't think I've told you about that, but I got a small garden, nothing big, but I'm trying. I'm trying is what I'm doing.
As long as we trying, as long as we're doing, we're not even trying, you're doing, because health is our wealth. Let's get it.
That's it. That's it. Health is it, because I'm trying to do my best to eat right. I started exercising daily. I've lost a little weight, and so I'm just trying to tone up. And
And I was gonna say that you look good. Like you can tell your face is more slender, it's all crystal clear.
thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
So what you growing?
I actually have some watermelon going, some eggplant, some carrots, some tomatoes. I've got some what is it? It's oh man, basil. I got some purple basil going, and I kind of like that. I like the color of the purple basil.
Oh, purple basil.
And so right now the watermelon is what's coming in, and it's looking really good. I've got at least five watermelons that are the fruit. The fruit has started growing and it's getting pretty big. And so my watermelon is hanging too. I have it going, kind of growing up vining up a little tree branch and up because of other things. But I have a little, I guess, net bag that I wrapped around them, and I'm hanging it up on that. So, it don't hold. So, because, the vine won't, snap because the watermelon will get big. But it's something interesting that I've seen. And so I'm trying it out. This is my first time having my garden. So I think next year is going to be much better.
Ashe. It is. It gets bigger and bigger and better each time.
Yeah.
I love it.
Well, thank you for coming to Bridge3Tv. This is my new show that I just started. I had a couple shows already, but it seemed like I might have said something incorrect and they pulled one. But I'm going to edit that and hopefully upload it back and get back on track on that, because this is something new to me. And so what brings you to YouTube? You like doing YouTube? You did this before?
Yeah, I have a YouTube channel, one of a kind, Slice of Pie Delight. That's my tarot and tea channel. Most people know that I'm a spiritual healer. I'm a tarot reader. I'm a psychic medium. I'm 1,000 things. My YouTube originally started with Teen Voice, when I had a panel of youth and we would do discussions. I still have those videos. I just keep them in a privacy setting. Because I don't think YouTube will let you have multiple channels. And if there's a way to have multiple channels, I don't know about it. So it started off as Team Voice, and then, I would just do random conversations and dialogues, and then it turned into my Tarot and Tea channel. I'm not a person that's always actively doing it every single day. I even upload videos to my Tarot and Tea channel with Ahamara. Well, Tarot and Tea with Ahamara on Facebook. So I got videos there, but it's not a consistency thing on YouTube. Because like I said, I go back and forth with Facebook. And then again, I'm not the reader that just reads constantly all day long. Like, I got life, I got children, I got work, I got stuff to do. So, but yes, I do have my channel. I do. And so, yes, I've been into the YouTube world. It's a great place. It's a great platform. But again, I don't have I don't have a set time and schedule, and I don't have thousands and thousands of followers. I think I got like 70 followers. You know what I'm saying? It could probably be more, but like I said, with life and stuff, like I use it when I feel like it, pretty much.
Right. And so what's going on, Straight Smoke?
As always, we stay dedicated to giving our best every day. We don't stop. What we do is we try to overall enrich everyone's diet through proper eating. Best food that we can possibly do is to grow it ourselves and keep everybody informed on top things and top issues that, subsequently matters in our daily lives. Thank you for having me, Bridge. It's good to see you again. How you doing, Ahamara? It's good to see you as well.
Thank you. Thank you. You too.
All right. Well, so we got a few topics that we're going to talk about. Let's go ahead and get into the first topic and try to see what we got going on. What is the first topic of today? Is go ahead. What do you think that is? Can you read that at the bottom?
Politics currently. Oh Lord.
I know. And so with that right there, what do you have to say on that? I agree and disagree with politics. We trying to I don't really understand why there's two parties that we only vote for, and then there's multiple parties that could be running. It all depends on if you're talking about the presidential race or if you run in something locally. We have too many people that I believe that are in the game that has been in the game way too long, and you can tell by their age and things that they are doing that ain't working out for them. Well, their time has come. They did a good job. Thank you for your time, your service that you did. But it's a new day and age that's going on. The world is ran by young people, especially the United States. It's run by young people, but we have a lot of mature people, way mature people, running things, and they don't see things the way we see things.
Yeah. And that's another thing about politics is that we have these old politicians. They sit in their seats entirely too long. There should be caps on them, but they're able to stay there for however long that they want to. And yeah, times have changed. Everything is outdated. But, we have to understand that the government structure is designed specifically geared one way, and that's for power and control. And it's not really for the people. It's an illusion that it is, and honestly, it's really not. And that's just unfortunate. You know what I'm saying? That's just how our government was constructed. It runs off a Roman Catholic Church type of structure, and it forms its government, and then we have officials and people, and then us at the bottom, the people that matter the most. The reason that this country is even great is because of the people. Politics is a funny game. Well, again, to introduce myself a little bit more, I'm the general of the Revolutionary Black Panther Party here in Louisville. I am the current vice president. Dre Dawson is our current president at this time, our captain and minister of defense and of information. Coming back off of the Shamika for Mayor campaign last voting season, and me running for school board and things like that, it was a time period, because that was just that moment, not to go back years prior, with Breonna Taylor and the protests and things like that, to where, even the party itself kind of got like burnt out, and like we really pretty much like took a year off to like just to recollect ourselves. So, here locally, our mission and our vision is to be on the ballot as a local political party, a party for the people, for Black and brown and oppressed people, because we really don't have a fight in this when we're talking about, parties, Democratic parties and Republican parties. You don't really have a party of your own. And so in order for us to be economically and politically organized and structured, you're going to need a party of your own, because the Democratic Party already has its agenda. The Republican Party has its agenda, but there's no party for the people. And those people are us. And so we strive to continue that, of course, by same community programs as the original Black Panther Party, but once you do your research and once you do your history of your past, the most intelligent thing to do is to build your own political party so you can have a fight in this race. I don't think that Black people consciously know that they really don't have a fight in this, because we just been conditioned in many, many ways. There's a lot of history that we don't, and information that we don't know, we don't understand. Some of us play a blind eye to it, and that's fine. It is what it is. But there's so much that is out there, and I really wish I could get my generation and the youth. I'm not looking for my parents' generation. I'm not looking for the baby boomers. And we need the 70s, though. We need them late 70s people, because they heartbeat, that Generation X, they come through too, but our elders have played their role, have done their part in history, have put up the greatest fight, so it's time to pass the torch. But because it's politics, that torch is not going to be passed correctly.
And
Because
to me, that's like the politics is not really talked about.
Mm-mm.
It's not, growing up, I didn't really. My parents didn't really talk to me about politics. They didn't tell me who we was voting for or who they were voting for.
Pause. Remember, but know why? Because even to this day, if I ask my mother who she's voting for, she won't tell me.
No, she won't tell you.
But
it was such a secret. It was such a secret that I never understood why.
Because of the era of back then. Remember, Black people couldn't vote for a period of time. Black men could vote. Black women actually had the right to vote first too, before white women. But that's an untold story that nobody want to talk about. But because they only focus on a slave narrative. But let's keep it pushing. But no, remember, we used to get bullied by the Klan, by white people, because we had the right to vote. You know what I'm saying? So it was secret. And seeing those are generational things, right? That's a generational thing of why they do that. You know what I'm saying? Like us, we be like, I ain't voting for that person. Fuck,
right? And I mean, even at work, people I work with, they let it be known who they vote for. It seems like all those days are gone. Don't nobody really care about that. You still have your select few that don't want to talk about it, but and then I guess it's about, it's still, everybody still asks you, I don't mind telling who I voted for.
Yeah. But yeah, elders, that are real rooted in that, they don't talk about it. My mother's side of the family, they don't really talk about it. They'll engage in political conversation, but they'll never tell you their vote.
I want to say in the last 10 years, that's when I really knew that there's other parties that can run and become presidency. Mm-hmm. The other parties, it's like 7 of them. And so it's like, I don't understand why they want to have that information. It's not, they really didn't have it. The information is there. I can go read it. I can go pull up the Congress book, the U.S. Congress, and find all the information that I want, but I'm not being directed to go look at that information. There's no one guiding me to go look at that information. I'm getting distracted by the television. And that's another conversation, but I've been distracted by these other things that keep me away from that. And so sports, everybody is big on sports. Tonight, right now, as we speak, football's on. So I chose to come and do this live video with you instead of be distracted by that football game. I like sports. Sports is a great way to, in school, to meet people, to learn teamwork, because you can't do nothing by yourself. There's no I in team. So sports do help you build a team. It gives you those learning experiences, other stuff too. It's physical. It's going to help you be in shape, so you got to be mentally and physically prepared to play any sport, so, it's a discipline thing that you will carry on the rest of your life, but then there's other ways that you can be disciplined, but that is a good way to do it. But after school, when school's over with, you can't be into sports majority of your time. It's an elective. It's an entertainment. And so to me, it should be able to have about that much of your life.
Of
You
your
only
time.
need about that
Because
much
your
of that entertainment.
academics,
Yeah.
because
You
your
know, you
academics
need
is what's important.
you need way more academics than sports. Sports is a small portion, you
Yeah.
know, because and that's how I feel, because I don't make no money off sports. I guess if I made money off sports, I'd see it differently, but it ain't helping me pay none of my bills here.
Well, we have a whole nother other slave industrial complex, which is called, you know, the NFL and the NBA, right? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, you know, which takes these great players, these great athletes, especially people of color, you know, people like us, black people, dominantly, you know, we dominate sports, and you know, it's a moneymaker for them. You know what I'm saying? It's an industry. And when you got it attached to schools, to colleges, universities, onto the pros, you know what I'm saying? It's huge profits, you know what I'm saying? And the thing is, it's just like we have to learn how to teach our children, you know, enjoy the sport, have fun. And if you get to go to school, college or whatever and play, great. If you make it, you're not going to make it a pro. A lot of it. And
Yeah.
seeing that's the downfall. You know
And
what I'm
so
saying?
and so and so
Small
you remember
makes it to
and
the pro.
so and to
And
go back to and to keep it on politics, you know, like we said back then, it was a secret to tell who he was voting for. Now you have these sports figures telling people who to vote for. You have people that you look up to for sports telling you who to vote for.
it's
That
an
right
agenda.
there is kind of crazy to me, because
It's all
that
agenda.
has nothing to do with politics.
It's all an agenda. It's all propaganda, you know. And at the end of the day, somebody's getting paid for all of it. And you know what's unfortunate is the things that we should be focusing on. That's what they give us. They give us entertainment. You know what I'm saying? Rather it's from sports, rather it's from celebrities, gossip, whatever. You know that's the programming, right? That's what it is. So, but let's go back because you know programming is coming up. But let's keeping it to politics, you know, because I'm very passionate about a lot of things and my visions are like huge. You know what I'm saying? But it's kind of like we got to air out some laundry a little bit. You know what I'm saying? That's why I like intellectual spaces. I like having conversations and
Hey,
dialogues.
okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like that's more important than anybody's entertainment. You know, I feel like it's important because I have children. You know what I'm saying? I need to know so I have something to pass to them. I can't pass them entertainment. You know what I'm saying? What I want them to be clowns. You know what I'm saying? I can't. What you're not gonna make it in society based off entertainment information. You know, you're gonna make it in society knowing the information. And I think it's very important to understand politics as a black person in America because we kind of like got screwed in the game. And this is why I say this is why we, the Revolutionary Black Panther Party, are a local political party here in Louisville, Kentucky. And as we keep building, you know what I'm saying? I don't care how long it takes, it's gonna get done. You know what I'm saying? But this is why we need parties of our own, because I don't think we understand the history. We don't understand the history. So what I would like to do, I gave straight smoke something. It's called The Inconvenient Truth About the Democratic Party by Carol Swain. She's a professor and political science and law at Vanderbilt University. And can we pop that up really quick, please? Because and once I read this, I'm going to briefly give a history that I feel like everybody should know. But can we pop that up? Because and I'm going to read it.
Yeah,
And
one
then
second. I think he's pulling that up in the background.
we're going to read this. We're going to read this because I am here to inform my people because I love my people. I love everyone. I want everyone to know this information, not just black people, all people, you know, because I feel like they don't teach it in school. And our elders, our grandparents and stuff, some of them have transitioned.
And
They
see,
can't tell you can't tell you
that
the story.
that's where I learned politics. That was in school. I seen them in the lunchroom having a pizza party talking about politics. And I
Mm-hmm.
just happened to stumble to walk in there because I seen some free pizza. And that's what they were in there doing, and then I went home to my dad and told him what I saw, and he told me we vote a different way. He didn't really break down why we vote a different way, but he just said we vote a different way. I had the pizza, but that was it.
Okay. So I saw this, and it sums up pretty much what I've been given to community. This is what we teach in political education classes. This is what the Black Panther Party does understand, and we do know we're not ignorant by far of this. Um, I need more of us as community, as people in general, everybody to understand this. This is history. You know what I'm saying? This is not something, these are not emotional responses. This is not something of how we feel. This is history, and this is what has happened. So let's read it real quick. It's not going to take me long to read. When you, ooh, and actually I can read it from the screen. When you think about racial equality and civil rights, which political party comes to mind? The Republicans or the Democrats? Most people would probably say the Democrats, but this answer is incorrect. Since its founding in 1829, the Democratic Party has fought against every major civil rights initiative and has a long history of discrimination. The Democratic Party defended slavery. The Democratic Party defended slavery, started the Civil War, opposed Reconstruction, founded the Ku Klux Klan, imposed segregation, perpetuated lynchings, and fought against the Civil Rights Acts of 1950s and the 60s. In contrast, the Republican Party was founded in 1854 as an anti-slavery party. Peace and power to Frederick Douglass. Its mission was to stop the spread of slavery into the new Western territories, with the aim of abolishing it entirely. This effort, however, was dealt a major blow by the Supreme Court. In the 1857 case of Dred Scott versus Sanford, the court ruled the slaves aren't citizens, they're property. The seven justices who voted in favor of slavery, all Democrats. The two justices who dissented, both Republicans. The slavery question was, of course, ultimately resolved by a bloody civil war. The commander-in-chief during the war was the first Republican president, Abraham Lincoln, the man who freed the slaves. 6 days after the Confederate Army surrendered, John Wilkes Booth, a Democrat, assassinated President Lincoln. Lincoln's vice president, a Democrat named Andrew Johnson, assumed the presidency. But Johnson adamantly opposed Lincoln's plan to integrate the newly freed slaves into the South's economic and social order. Johnson and the Democratic Party were unified in their opposition of the 13th Amendment, which abolished slavery, the 14th Amendment, which gave Black citizenships, and the 15th Amendment, which gave Blacks the right to vote. All three passed only because of universal Republican support. During the era of Reconstruction, federal troops stationed in the South helped secure rights for the newly freed slaves. Hundreds of Black men were elected to Southern legislatures as Republicans, and 22 Black Republicans served in the U.S. Congress by 1900. The Democrats did not elect a Black man to Congress until 1935. Okay, 35 years later. But after the Reconstruction ended, when the federal troops went home, Democrats roared back. Can you move the screen? Sorry. Roared back into power in the South. They quickly reestablished white supremacy across the region with measures like Black codes, laws that restricted the ability of Blacks to own property and run businesses. And they opposed poll taxes and literacy tests used to subservient the Black citizens' right to vote. And how was all of this enforced? By terror. Much of it's instigated by the Ku Klux Klan, founded by a Democrat, Nathan Bedford Forrest, okay, as historian Eric Fowler himself as Democrat notes. In effect, the Klan was a military force serving the interests of the Democratic Party. President Woodrow Wilson, a Democrat, shared many views with the Klan. He resegregated many federal agencies and even screened the first movie ever played at the White House, the racist film, The Birth of a Nation, originally entitled The Klansman. A few decades later, the only serious congressional opposition to the landmark of Civil Rights Act of 1964 came from Democrats. 80% of Republicans in Congress supported the bill. Less than 70% of Democrats did. Democrat senators filibustered the bill for 75 days until Republicans mustered the few extra votes needed to break the logjam. And when all the efforts to enslave blacks, kept them enslaved, and then keep them from voting had failed, the Democrats came up with a new strategy. If black people are going to vote, they might as well vote for Democrats. As President Lyndon Johnson was purported to have said about the Civil Rights Act, and we're going to get into this in a minute, I'll have them niggas voting Democrats for 200 years. So now, the Democratic Party prospers on the votes of the very people it has spent much of its history of oppression. So now, the Democratic Party prospers on the votes of the very people it has spent much of its history oppressing. Democrats falsely claim that the Republican Party is the villain, when in reality, it is the failed policies of the Democratic Party that have kept blacks down. This is a fact. Look at our reality. Massive government welfare has disseminated the black family. Opposition to school choice has kept them trapped. Opposition to school choice has kept them trapped in failing schools. Politically correct policing has left black neighborhoods defenseless against violent crime. So when you think about racial equality and civil rights, which political party should come to mind? I'm Carol Swain, professor of political science and law at Vanderbilt University for Prager University. All right.
All right. All right. That was a powerful speech there.
That was a lot to digest.
That was a lot. And I'd heard some of that before, but not all of that. And like you said, that is not taught in our school. That is not taught to none of us. And when I do talk to some people, you know, they will say, well, everybody knows that. And then it's like, well, if everybody knows that, then why everybody ain't did something about it?
About it. Where's the eyebrow raise? Where's the what the hell? And how did black people get on this Democratic bandwagon? And this is my favorite story to share with the world.
And that's a beautiful story. I'm glad you shared that with us.
That's that. No, this piece that I'm getting ready to share.
Oh, it's even better.
It's even better. Okay. So there's that piece of history. There's that piece of history, right? It's summed up, real raw, truthful, uncut, and perfectly written. I mean, she told you fact from fact to fact.
Right.
This is what I tell people all the time. Prior to the 1950s, black people were Republicans. Now, we just read an article. You would think that black people would be Republicans. After based off reading that, wouldn't you think that black people back of that time period, they would be Republicans? It's quite simple. And I mean, that's
because we always was told that Martin Luther King them was Republican.
They were. Up until 1960, black people in America were Republicans, especially, you know, down south, right? So here we go. What happens? So here we go. We have a man by the name of Martin Luther King, our ancestor. All right. We know the civil rights movement. Here's the problem that happened with the civil rights movement. I'm going to tell the story, but I'm going to talk about this. The civil rights made sure that no matter our race, color, creed, national, all of that stuff, we get this whole equality thing. Integration happened. Black people are welcome in our space. All of this is happening. The only failure with the Civil Rights Act was that there was no provision for economic empowerment, financial security, gaining capital. So it's kind of like, oh, this is all they want. Yeah, we'll make you inclusive. Right. We'll make you inclusive. Sure. You want to integrate with us? Sure. Right. All that is fine. But there was nothing, not in the Civil Acts Bill of 1964, 65, how many other times, addressed or made any provisions for our economic situation. Right? So here's what happened. Martin Luther King is a preacher. He's a preacher who was on the front lines of the civil rights. Martin Luther King gets locked up in Birmingham, and he had to do, hard labor, while he was there. And then there was a man by John F. Kennedy who was running for president as a Democrat. Remember, everybody's Republican. He was running as a Democrat. This is what happened. John F. Kennedy propositioned Martin Luther King when he was in jail. He said, hey, I know you're doing this civil rights movement, created the Civil Acts Bill. All of this is going on. Listen, I'm willing to help you. I'm willing to help you. So with that being said, I'm going to bail you out of jail. It was a political move. It was a political move because there's more to the story, but I'm going to sum it up. I'm going to get you out of here and I'm going to help you do that. If you can just get your people to endorse me for president. Phew, that's huge. So that's churches back then were huge grounds for community organizing and politics, period. That's what the Black church was. And so Martin Luther King comes back to the congregation, endorses pretty much John F. Kennedy, and we voted for him. And that's how in the early 1960s, you see us going from majority voting Republican to Democrat, because we voted for Kennedy because Martin Luther King, we held him in great regards. He's a leader. He's one of our organizers. Okay, let's trust and make his move. So we voted for Kennedy. So it is not by coincidence, and I tell people this all the time, why John F. Kennedy was assassinated, and so was Martin Luther King. It's like I led my people into a burning house. Yeah.
Yep, that story we always hear.
Yeah. And so with that, Nazi ass Lyndon B. Johnson, is now the president. Right. And it's called what is it called? The Johnson, what is it called? We saw about it yesterday.
Lyndon B. Johnson?
Lyndon B. Johnson. The Lyndon B. Johnson, I forget what it's called. But listen, he created the 501c3, right?
Oh, yes.
He created the 501c3. No, it's called the Johnson something. But anyways, he creates, so all of this happened. King is gone. Kennedy is gone. He creates a thing called the 501c3. And he said, you know what? We're going to let churches be tax exempt. You don't have to report your monies or anything that you're doing. We're going to make you tax exempt. You know what I'm saying? But you cannot talk about politics in the church. You cannot talk about politics in the church. And that's when they close. It's like they stole us again. They enslaved us again. And then closed the door on us.
Close the door.
And close the door. And
that was our meeting place. That's where everybody went to gather. You could say that's where everybody had their powwow at. That's where we gathered together.
That's we organized
to inform everybody, what was going on and what needed to happen.
And I tell people all the time, when you go listen to preachers back in that era, especially Malcolm's and Martin's, it don't matter if you was Muslim, Christian, whatever, we were discussing Black issues, right? So when you bump it up to like the 1980s, and here we go with the whole motivational speeching and this I don't know what the hell you want to call that stuff that they do in the church. You know what I'm saying? But they're not talking about any of our issues. So once that came into play, it was like we now have them on underneath our foot again, and we're gonna muzzle their preachers. And we're going to muzzle their preachers.
Is this what you was talking about? The Johnson Amendment?
The Johnson Amendment, yes. The Johnson Amendment is a provision in the United States tax code since 1954 that prohibits all 501c3 nonprofit organizations from endorsing or opposing political candidates. Section 501c3 organizations are the most common type of nonprofit organizations in the United States, ranging from charitable foundations, universities, and churches. The amendment is named for then Senator Lyndon B. Johnson of Texas, who introduced it in preliminary draft of the law in July 1954. All right, and I don't care about the rest. But listen, with that, and now you have the separation of church and state, right? Right. But what's so odd, because I was taught that in school. What's so odd? I was taught this in school. I was taught this. But it's funny how during every election cycle, you see politicians in the church. Like, how could you do that?
I mean, because you so seen Hillary Clinton and all them in the church.
And it's like, and I was so confused as a kid because I was like, because I'm young, I really don't know what's going on, because I'm not I don't have any experience. I'm not intellectually inclined. I'm like 13, you know what I'm saying? But right. I can see stuff. If you're telling me church and state is stuff with this, Lyndon B. Johnson this, and then when I get to church I see this, well, what's really happening here? Well, I feel like the preacher might be a pimp. And he's bringing in these other money. I don't know. He pimping us out or something, because you're not even dealing with our issues, and you're not. And the representation are still Democrats in black churches. When politicians come to speak, they're majority Democrat. And we let Republicans in, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. But because the majority of black people are Democrat, we bring all these Democratic people in here, and they give us these feel-good speeches and everything's great and let's vote for them. And guess what happens? Our agenda has never even been met. They not even asking you what your agenda is.
No, they telling you. They
telling you.
They telling you everything you need to know.
Yeah, this is what I'm gonna do. This is what we're doing. Vote for me, and I don't care about your issues. Matter of fact, you ain't got no issues on the table because you ain't even talking about them. No. Let me tell you something about black people in America. We sign off on all these agendas, LGBTQs, this, immigration, this, and this.
It's never us first.
It's never us, and you know why?
It should be us first.
You know why? Because black people don't know what their agenda is. They don't know what their agenda is.
No, we out here just partying. We just living our best life is what they will say.
And we're still waiting on that great white hope. Just like we're doing that great white Jesus that thinks that's going to save us. You see what I'm saying?
And see, that's why I created this channel, because I'm trying to show that, as an individual, I can only do so much. I do have my own business, but I still have to go work for someone else. I enjoy working for someone else, but I'm waiting on the day that I can work for myself, put 8 hours in for myself,
or
be
able
to hire someone to come and work for me, work with me.
And that's a black attitude. Work with me. Since I was fired from the courthouse and falsely imprisoned, I haven't worked for white people since then. And that was 2015. It's 2023. Everybody I have worked for, even when I wasn't making a lot of money, I was just helping build a brand. I've worked for Health Daddy Wow. You see what I'm saying? I've worked for your sister. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't about dollars. It's about what we're building, because we have to build an infrastructure. And money ain't got nothing to do with that.
No. Because once we learn to start working together with each other, that's how we're going to build something. That's the only way we're going to learn, whenever we can build something and start trusting each other, because we don't trust each other. You're going
to have to take a pay cut too. And take the pay cut.
Right. Straight Smoke is my cousin, and so when me and him talk all the time. So when I came up with this idea, of course, he was already ready. Right. He was ready to join this with me. I got my business partner, Marley Marr, who came on our last 2 episodes. They were ready to help build this platform, because with this right here, the more people that I can get to come view us, to come chop it up with us, to find more like-minded people like us, then we can do something together.
We can start building, and that's it.
There's a bunch of communities on here that I listen to, but they are spread out. They're everywhere around amongst the United States, and that's great. I love that. But if I can build a community in the town, in the city or state that I'm in, then that will be more powerful, because then this community in this state can go help another community in another state.
Build the next one. And that's a
Build
vision
the next one.
too. And let me tell you something. It don't take everybody.
It don't.
It does not take everybody. It takes the right people.
The right people.
That's all it takes. Because you're not
I
going
know
to
the words for everything y'all been saying. I know
Mhm.
the words for everything y'all been saying. I've been quietly sitting back listening, and just that's what I do. Well, I'm learning to do. But I want to interject myself on something. When are black folks gonna stop playing identity politics with these white folks? That's number one. If you identify as somebody and then you rep yourself like a fool, not only are you a fool, but you're a traitor to your own nation. And most black folks don't even know what their own nation is. Okay? You have to look at things consistently from where I sit. Because if you was taught wrong, guess what you're going to do? You're going to go to extreme. You're going to be the one to go rob a bank. You're going to be the one that go do something extra stupid to get your ass killed or get killed while you're young. That's why we have these crime rates that we do, because we are letting our kids see adult content they should never even see.
And speaking
so I
to
kind of
that,
look at things.
Oh, keep going. I don't want to cut you off, brother. I'm sorry.
And so what I'm seeing is that the consistent ignorance, and everybody say they was breaking generational curses. I've said this again. I'm going to say it again. Eb, I'm breaking generational ignorance. Nothing that I will do will be dignified by the terms and means that were not brought before me as my man for my family. So the rest of that, I'm not participating in. You can't make me participate in it. And I'm going to find a way that I will get school taxes taken out of my money, because I am not participating in that. That's your participation. That's what they have already predicated their taxes on, your participation. So when you start participating in the act of being a slave to the government, guess what happens? You become your own citizen. Period. Look at the Amish. Look at the Moors. I'm not kidding.
Yeah, because we can get ourselves up out of this position, because with my business that I run right now, I do have enough money to sustain where I live at in my house, but I wouldn't have all the luxuries until, my business grow. If I was doing,
and what does luxury mean?
See, and that's it. I'm not a superficial or type of person. I don't need stuff.
We lost culture. We lost culture. We lost nature.
Like sharing stuff.
Black people, indigenous people, African people, melanated, carbon. We've always lived by nature. Basic. But see, that's what happens when you don't study you and you study them.
Right.
You want to be more like them. You want your homes to look like them, theirs, your furniture, your carpet, your whole scenery, all of that. It has to look like them. It don't look like you. So with all of this, again, we lose our culture in all of this. That's why integration was our downfall. Can we learn from our ancestors? I love my ancestors. They had to do what they had to do for this time fit, because they were tired of being brutalized.
Right.
Racism back then. I thank God for my ancestors, because I know I wouldn't have made it. I would have slit my fucking throat. I'm not doing this. I don't know where I'm going, but I'm getting out of here. You gotta love them, because they had to endure that shit. So anything to get us out of this, they did their part. But integrating with your enemy, you never do. Because then when you integrate with your enemy, you're not gonna know who your enemy is. Because your enemy turns around and your enemy looks like you.
And so,
it's deep.
It is deep, because you can Google, what all I did was put in black towns flooded. there's 5 Black American towns hidden under lakes and ultimately hidden from history books.
Yep.
You know, so there's a town in
Town.
Georgia. There's a place in Georgia that was an all Black town where we were thriving. We were doing good. Ain't no telling if it was a town, then that means it had everything sustainable. It had
Sustainable.
stores, hospitals, you know, gas
Banks.
stations, you
Gas
know,
stations.
banks. It had everything, agriculture, you know, everything that you needed to make it sustainable. It was doing that and was doing well. And now all of a sudden it's flooded. So what happened to all that generational wealth that could have been there, passed on, but now it's gone.
Now and
You know, and that's
pause.
Oscar Field, Oscar Field, Georgia. Let me share that.
Yeah, let's look at it. Because there's a phrase that we're gonna stop using. We have to call it what it is.
Can you
People
see
give
that?
white people too much power. Uh-huh.
And so this is Oscarville, Georgia. Lake Lanier is a popular weekend destination known for fishing, boating, and so much more, including an air reputation that has been deemed as a haunted in Georgia.
It should
Ain't
be.
no picture of it, you know.
I think somebody in Lake Lanier went into the water and never came out. It was something crazy.
Lake Lanier recently, that ain't the one that
it wasn't recent.
Oh.
Well, maybe recent in like the past 5 years recent. It was something, somebody went down into that water. You better leave my ancestors alone.
And so where's the other one at? That was just one. Oh, okay, here we go. Read full article. And so here's another one that's in Alabama. It turns out that Alabama's Lake Martin is built on the previously majority Black town of Kowalage. I don't want to say that wrong. It is home of the first Black-owned railroad started by William E. Benson and the Black School Academy and Industrial Institute. And so, you know, I didn't know nothing about no first Black-owned railroad started by William E. Benson. You know, we don't get that information taught to us. You know, but then it goes on to say William is the son of John Benson, who was enslaved and then freed. He went on a journey to rescue his sister in Florida, who was separated during slavery, and they made their way back to Alabama. John purchased thousands of acres of land, sold to Black families, where he formed a community. And so, you know, that's something that if that community would have been able to pass things on and on and on, where would we be at today? Right. You know, then you got Seneca Village in New York. Everybody know about Seneca Village in New York, you know, but it was previously, you know, an indigenous place. You have Savannah, Alabama, you know, that was also flooded by Lake Martin. So that was very close to the other one. You have Vanport in Oregon. In the 1940s, Vanport was the center of booming shipyard industry because of the World War II. And a lot of people came over here after World War I and World War II. So that's what's crazy right there. And see, I believe that's it. A lot of places see this was in 1940.
And look, it said at the bottom, and it said at its peak, it was 40,000 residents, or 40% were African American.
African Americans. And so that was a lot of people in that one little area. And now all these places are gone over something. Have you ever seen this?
Deport the Asian that comes to America. You can deport the person from the Caribbean islands. You can deport the person that comes from Africa, but you cannot deport the Black Aboriginal. Where you can't take us nowhere, because we belong here, because this is our fucking land. Moving on. That's why I don't acknowledge white supremacy. I acknowledge white inferiority. Next.
And I'm highlighting on everything you said. Astoundingly, I love that mentality in you. I really do. And pardon me for my French earlier. It's just that when I see good mental health, I see that I have to support that, to let you know that I recognize what you're saying. I did the same research. I sat back and took the time out to go and see how this actually formed.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I cared about. So anybody in that timeline that I know that could be possibly affected by it, I was asking them blunt questions. Because it takes people to actually, as you see with 501c3s at that time, they was giving majority of their money to the Democratic Party. That was killing them.
What do you think that the churches are doing? What? Who? Okay. So how do you think the politician gets paid? Through the church. You want to know where your money's going?
It's not that. In other words, that's the Kirby dryer guy coming to your door trying to sell you a vacuum.
Okay.
The Kirby vacuum cleaner guy. Or so you understand what I'm saying? I'm old.
Yeah, I feel you.
Okay. So what I'm trying to tell you is that I'm not with the generational ignorance. I'm just not with it. What I'm saying is that you're supposed to think for yourself and understand what you're seeing through what people are showing you, because you have to take these people at face value of what they're showing you. That's bottom line what that is. So what I'm looking at is that I will go and find out how this all started. And when I present the evidence for how this all started, I don't want no flood. I don't want no flood, because I gave you the information for real. Not in my words, in their own words. I'm going to show you the documentation that they did to show you throughout the duration of time that you have never been anything to them but a willful servant of the state.
And that's what the Lord, that God, that'll teach you in that church to be the
and so, and with all that being said, all we got to do, to me, it's easy to get up out of this. We do got to follow their rules just a little bit, but following their rules just a little bit will help us get out of the situation.
And here we come with political science and education. It's not following nothing. You know how hard your enemy studies you? You have to study your enemy. And in that becomes combat. That's why it makes martial science is so important.
Because they know everything that we want. That's why they put everything that we want in that store.
They know how we emotionally respond.
And have somebody else run it.
First of all, that's their whole game, is to
bank off how we everything off of living. They predicated everything off of living. So if they dangle a carrot or a fruit in front of you, most people will say, "Ooh, what is this?"
They'll eat it.
How can it benefit me? All they're doing is showing you, period, point blank, if you're not growing your own food and you dependent on us. I put it to you like this. It's only one fast food chain that I can say that is not messing with BG.
What's that?
Did you see how BG put all those mosquitoes in Florida and Texas?
Yes.
You understand what I'm saying? These people are not playing. They're not playing. The things that you consume is what's giving you your illness.
And who are the greatest consumers inside of America? Us.
Say it again.
Us.
Say it again.
That's why I don't care about your Christmas, your Halloween, your Thanksgiving. You ain't doing nothing but spending out constantly. Black people, they be talking about, okay, I get it from a sense of, no, brick and mortar, it's hard for us to do that. We have railroads systematically. But when we talking about money, miss me with that. We got plenty of money. But you want to put it in your hair, your fake hair, your nails, materials. We wear our wealth on our back. Let me tell you something about Black Panther Party. We do collections and donations. That's why I call it redistributing our wealth back into community, because we put our wealth on our back. When we take our clothes donations, do you know what type of shit I got in my motherfucking in our storage? Yo, Black people is real life wearing their wealth on their backs, material. When we give to community, we can transform a whole community. When them people on 26 get them clothes and then put it back on and the whole neighborhood look good, it's because Black people did that. Do you know how much money we spend on just material? And then Black women, hair, nails, all
that's
this.
what I'm saying.
Cars.
That's hold on. I hear you. And just hear me out real quick. I don't mean to interrupt you, but I just want to say this. You're still doing the same thing that they was teaching people to do. You're giving fundamentals to people instead of giving them the education for them to do it for themselves.
Do what
you have to encourage people. Yes, fundamentals, it's materials. Materials to make them
but buy
feel
your
better,
materials. But
feel
I just
better,
said
look
last
better,
night on a post,
whatever the
Black
case
ain't
may
attractive.
be. But if you gave
Black
them
ain't
the
attractive. You see these
education
earrings?
to
I got this from my homegirl. She's Black. This is a material. This is something I consume, and I bought it. Black. My nose piercings. Zoe's on 4th Street. Black owned business. You see what I'm saying? My hair's mine. Rings. Deneen. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's okay to consume goods and materials. Who you buying them from? This Black woman. This Black. You see what I'm saying? So the
you keeping the money in
the
the community. You're making people. You spending money in the community, so that's gonna make the community grow. That's all we saying. And it ain't about us just buying something from a Black person. It's just if we spend money with them, they'll spend money with us.
These are cute earrings. They didn't cost me nothing. But if they Louis though, everybody would jump up on them and spend like $500. A Black woman can make a bag, sell it to you for $40, but you'll go get a Louis because Black people are branded in this country. We're branded in fraternities and sororities. We're branded in our education. We're branded again by consumption. You know, I can't even get into the branding ordeal. We're branded. So to get you to buy in to my materials, it's gonna be very hard.
And I thought when people heard
because you look at a celebrity,
Tommy Hilfiger say that I did not make these clothes for you people.
Didn't Tommy Hilfiger say? Matter. You're still gonna wear it.
Did he say I didn't make these clothes for you people, Tommy Hilfiger? And I thought that was a wake up call for people whenever they said he said that. And I thought that's why we came out with, what was it? I thought we came out with FUBU, you know, for us by us.
Yes.
You know, but that trend faded. That was what, in the late 90s, early in the mid 90s.
And that's what I loved about the 70s and the what is it? The 80s and the 90s, you know, with hip hop culture. And look what they done did to hip hop culture. You know what I'm saying? Hip hop culture had its own clothes, its own brand. It still had its spirituality. We was rocking unks. You know what I'm saying? Like we was real live Black. Remember cross colors, all that. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, but we got branded out because imagery and sound, an image that they put on a television screen that they put our celebrities in, because remember, they get our celebrities to promote their shit, their brands, and then we buy into the product. That's why when Malcolm X said celebrities are not leaders, yeah, because see, our Black celebrities promote all them brands, and because we look up to celebrities because they look like us, well, we want to buy into what the celebrity is wearing. We want to look up. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so if we take that at face value to understand what we know is factual, for real, if we take that into understanding of what we know is factual, why were we cultivated to buy into something that we knew and was fundamentally morally wrong in our households to make our households in which we see today? That's my whole understanding, because people had to go along with this in order for it to work. So again, I'm posing the education of us. What made the TV or a celebrity who they are? Why do we follow this this guy to say, oh, I need to know about such and such that's spending billions of dollars sexual life. You understand what I mean? Think about what I'm saying. Yeah. Because the higher up in money you get, it's case well proven, you know, the things that you do when you become an asset of the country, because you generate money for a multitude of conglomerates that depend on your revenue on a monthly basis, for real. That's what you keep bringing up, like celebrities, NBA, and any of those people that you see on the big screen. And that's what I'm alluding to. What made these people, in your opinion, become some of the most arrogant, not only arrogant, but just look at the messaging that you've been seeing out of these celebrities. And also I want you to address the, as you said, culture, how you seen majority of these basketball players literally wearing like dresses on the entrance walks coming into games or leaving games. Could you speak upon that?
Yeah, because they're being controlled too. Because they sign contracts. And most Black people with gifts and talents and skills and abilities, I applaud them on that, because that's their gift, that's their skill, that's their talent. You know, whether they can sing, whether they can act, whether they can dance, whether they can shoot a jump shot, whether they can throw the football, regardless of what it is, they're talented. But I feel like, you know, they don't understand what happens when you start to go playing in their arenas at the top. Okay. Just like the music industry, even with our masters, the greatest wealth if I'm going to ask for reparations, I'm going to ask for the rights back to our music. You know how much money that is, you know? So what happens is we have this talent, this skill and ability, but they prey on us. And a lot of us, some of us, I ain't gonna say everybody, but a lot of us, we come from poverty. We come from certain type of conditions. Oh, now we made it. You know what I'm saying? Still lacking the education on being financial literacy, lacking the education on contract law, lacking all of these things. So when we make it big, you know, oh yeah, I've arrived, not knowing that there's already a systematical structure to exploit your talents and your abilities. And once you sign these contracts, now you belong to me. So yeah, we look like, oh yes, these guys are great. Yes, they're making, they play the game good, they act good, they sing good, whatever the talent, the ability is, and we champion them on. And we don't understand that they're in a situation that they can't even get themselves out of. And I tell people all the time, Black people in America, all these celebrities, they worth all this type of money, and people always ask, like, why don't you come home and do something? Because they can't, because you're under contract. That money ain't even really yours. And once you get to a certain type of level, they're going to want their money back. And then that's when you see the exploitation of people, you know, the slanders and the Wesley Snipes, the Will Smiths and Jadas, and you see all of this, Bill Cosby's, we see it all, the R. Kellys, we see it all. You know what I'm saying?
But what I'm saying is that's the point that I was hoping that you would make, is because you never see anything of the opposite color being brought to justice for anything. You understand what I mean? And also, with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and say this too, and we have to be understandable about this. There is not a football stadium that's in the last 52 years that has been built that was not taxpayer funded. A football stadium has not been built in the United States that was not taxpayer paid for.
Yeah.
Any upgrades to a football stadium is always done by the taxpayers.
By the taxpayers.
Every single one. So I want you to understand that when I say you don't know where your taxes is going, because the next thing, like I said, I'm going to do, I'm getting the school tax taking out of my taxes. What I'm doing is I'm reducing their power in my pocket. That's what I'm on. That's what I'm focused about. And we have to do better and always think small, but think large. It's not think big and do big. No, think small and make those incremental steps that will always gain you footage on what you're trying to accomplish in the long run. Always think small in a good stride.
Yeah.
Thanks, Bridge. If I may, I need to step away for a second.
Well, man, I was only want to do an hour long, and we done went past our hour mark. And so I think we're going to go ahead and shut it down. We do have a couple more topics, but to me, that means that Ahamara, you're going to have to come back and join us on chopping it up.
I will be back. I don't have no problems.
Yeah, because I like this. This is great. I was hoping to I tried to text a couple other people the link because I wanted to get a couple other people on here, because this is a whole 10 people and all of us can share our stories, share our testimonies, and learn from each other. I want to get to a point where the people in the YouTube is going to be chatting more so we can correspond with them and really engage on what's really going on in the world. We do rely on the news media to give us news, and I've learned more news on YouTube. That they're not sharing on regular TV. But
this is what black people do. Their phones. But this is what black people do. We say white supremacy, racism. It ain't white supremacy. It's white inferiority. Change your language. It's white inferiority. But black people, white supremacy, racism, this, blah, 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 blah. But you rely on your oppressor for your information. I never understood that.
I don't get it either.
You rely
know where they getting their information from.
They done did everything telling you lift the sun. You want to yell out here, belly out, whatever. But all I see niggas is doing is relying on their oppressor for their information. If you listen to CNN, if you listen to Fox, now I listen to it because I have to look. I have a different eye. I'm intelligent, but people that buy into CNN, Fox, this, all of that shit, you're being brainwashed. You're not even being told the truth. I
listen to them all. I take a little bit of information from all of them and learn from all of them. Is what I like to do. Straight Moke, did you say you had something for us?
Yeah, I did, because I'm really wanting to show this piece because this shows the gatekeepers. The gatekeepers. This is just one that I can highlight many. I'm gonna put together a nice series once I get my software back up and running. But this right here, it's just incredible. And it's like, how is this dude even on TV and acting like he's just like the best since sliced bread?
Right.
How is this? This is what I want to know, because it doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me. So that's my whole thing. But check this out.
With Al Sharpton and Don King.
Yes.
During this time. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, I had a big undercover operation on me at the time. Obviously, I didn't know where for illegal, and so they got to me somehow through somebody I knew.
The audio is choppy. I can't really hear
it.
Yes.
I can't hear it.
Yeah, it's chopping up.
Between Don King and Don King, I shot them at the time. This is gunfire.
Straight Smoke.
It's chopping up.
People, which you call them at the time.
But we can talk about Al, Jesse.
Yeah, because to me, Jesse's the one that named us. No, Al is the one. No, Jesse, who's it? No, one of them, gave us the name African Americans. you know,
Jesse,
in the
he
1980s.
also stole the whole Rainbow Coalition from Fred Hampton. Remember when he came up with the whole Rainbow Coalition, all that extra stuff? He stole that from Fred Hampton, nigga.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Jesse and Al ain't never been somebody to trust. And Al was an informant. He was.
All
And
of
that's
them were
what I'm
getting
telling you
paid.
about this black church, man. When you do the history of the black church and how when it all kicked in the 80s, I'm trying to tell you, in the 80s, we matter of fact, we gonna the next time I come on here,
The
talk
next
about that black
episode,
church,
the
and
next
we're gonna
time you
talk
come
about
on
what
is gonna
happened
be
in the
great.
80s and what was sanctioned and why we in the hell that we in right now. I never looked up to. I tell people all the time, why Al still here? Why Jesse still here? Why Medgar Everett's gone? Why Malcolm gone? Why Martin Luther King gone? You know what I'm saying? But you niggas is still here. Going with that okie doke. With your fake dashikis. Fuck Jesse.
Yeah, because
I ain't never
I
been
don't,
a fan of
I don't
Al.
see them. I don't see them doing anything to help us. But yeah, that was
they
real
ambulance
choppy. Straight, I couldn't hear it.
They ambulance chases just like Donald. What's his name? Crump. What? I was about to miss. Benjamin Crump.
Benjamin Crump. Yeah.
Ben Crump.
Benjamin Crump. That's the name.
They
Benjamin
all
Crump.
ambulance chasers. This is what they do. They corral black people in to dissipate the energy on issues that matter. Here we go. 501c3. well, okay, all right. The niggas is talking, all right, and they come in and dissipate the energy because that's not what they're paid for.
Right.
They're not paid for to cause revolutionary change.
Yeah.
They're called in to dissipate the energy, just like a lot of our motherfucking preachers. Don't get me started, because I know the truth, and it's not hidden. It's right in front of your face. It's historical. It's fact. It's written in a book. Niggas just don't like reading. And sometimes black people don't like hearing certain truths from you. But let's keep going.
Well, we're going to go ahead and end the show. Did you want to try that again, Straight Smoke? Because it was choppy. We couldn't hear what they were saying.
I don't understand what happened all of a sudden. It's like I lost the whole right side of my actual screen, and then both you all blanked out. So I had to restart all over.
All right, well, we'll get to that on the next. We'll get to that on the next show.
Yeah, we will.
Yeah,
but I'm gonna just end this show right here with this. You know, I like talking about Health Daddy Wow. You said that you used to work for it. You do some work from Health Daddy Wow.
I send everybody to Health Daddy Wow. Woo!
I send everybody there. You know, for any of your health needs that you may need. You know, if you got a common cold or just not feeling good, or if you trying to lose weight.
Support Health Daddy Wow.
If you just want to, you know, better yourself, detox yourself, you know, depending on what you eat. You know, a lot of stuff that we eat today is not really good for us, but it's fast and quick and easy, so that we go try to do that. But if you do have something going on with your body and you're not entirely sure what it is, you could definitely go down to Health Daddy Wow. He will get you together. You know, he has everything up under the sun that you may need that's concerning your health. You know, he's also like a therapist. You know, if you talk to him about what's going on, he's going to talk to you about ways that you could fix it. You know, everybody's trying to live their best life, do everything they can to live and see the next day. You know, so you've got to, what I would say is change your oil. You know, you change the oil in your car every 3 months, every 3,000 miles, something like that, hopefully. So you need to do that to yourself. You know, just helping yourself is going to help everybody else. That's how I like to look at it. I help myself, so now I can help everybody else. And so, you know, I would like to thank everybody for viewing and checking us out here on Bridge3Tv, because we can be live on YouTube more often. You know, this is just the beginning of it. We like this. You see, I got my special guest, Ahamara, on her. She said she's going to come back. You know, so I'm going to have everybody else. I'm going to have a couple more special guests come in. You know, we're trying to build this community. We're going to have a beautiful thing at the end. This is just the beginning in 2023. Just wait till 2024. We try to stay positive around here. We stay positive around here and just help each other out. And so that's all I'd have to say. Straight Smoke, Ahamara, would y'all like any closing words?
Ashe and peace and revolutionary love.
As always, the best thing that you can do is keep your family safe. Feed them the best that you can feed them. Don't settle for less, and always be dedicated, because the dedication is something that's needed right now. Be good.
All right, y'all take it easy. Peace out.
All right, peace.